Hello there, everyone. Hope you're doing well today. It is WrestleMania week, finally. It is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2019. My name is Raphael Garcia, and I'm here for episode 16 of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Thank you for joining me today. As always, first and foremost, I appreciate you taking your time to listen to the show today. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We're over here at MMAratings.net doing all we can to not only bring you professional wrestling content on a weekly basis, but plenty of mixed martial arts content as well between myself, Adam Martin, Sharon Humes, Michael Ford. Be sure to go to that site and rate the fights as well. Let us know what you thought of all the action from the past weekend and how excited you are about the action that's coming up as well. So as always, that's MMAratings.net. You can catch us on Instagram and Twitter at MMA Ratings, and always catch us on our YouTube channel here as well. Again, my name is Raphael Garcia. You can find me at rgarcia_sports. So with the introduction being done, I want to say it's that time of year. It's April, early April, so you know that means it's WrestleMania season, and we have quite a bit to talk about. Last week's show, I did a quick, probably about 20-minute look forward to the events of WrestleMania week, sans anything WWE. So I talked about like the G1 Supercar coming up, MLW event, the Shimmer event. I think that's tomorrow. So much stuff is going on. Events start today, and if you're on Twitter and a part of wrestling Twitter, I'm sure that you see a lot of people talking about landing in the city and getting there and being excited about going to a whole bunch of wrestling events. I myself, I wish I went earlier this year. I had some other vacation coming up around WrestleMania season, so I couldn't take all of it. But definitely, best believe I wanted to be there from Thursday through Monday or Tuesday. But unfortunately, this year I'll just be there for Sunday. But I'm thankful for that because it will be my first WrestleMania ever. I'm 35 years old. Been watching wrestling since I think I was about 8 years old. So this is kind of like a dream come true. And I definitely paid a pretty penny for the tickets that I have. So I'm looking forward to that. And to lead into the event, I just wanted to do a preview show on all of the matches that are scheduled for the WrestleMania 35 card. We have 15 matches, and we have quite a bit to talk about here. So I wanted to go ahead and go through all of these matches. We're going to start from the bottom up, work my way to the main event. And unfortunately, when I'm looking at the match listing is not in order. So I'm just going to go with what I assume is a close order and just go from there. The only thing we do know is that the main event is the women's title match between Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. But there's plenty of other stuff to talk about as well. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into that and give you guys a preview. Next week, I will probably do a recap of the show and just kind of talk about what it was like being there and what I saw. It's going to be a long day. I can't wait. Looking forward to it. And yeah, so that's really it. Let's go ahead and kind of jump into the show today. And again, I thank you all for listening to the content. So the first match I want to preview is probably going to be on the pre-show, which is unfortunate because if Shawn Michaels was the show stealer at one point in time, the showstopper, whatever the hell that nickname was that he had, Buddy Murphy needs to be the pre-show stealer, the pre-show stopper, whatever it is, because he continuously steals the show whenever he's placed on the pre-show, and it's a sad that him being the cruiserweight champion, he's booked in such a way. I think he could be someone that could have such an impact as Mustafa Ali and Leo Rush have had on the main roster, since they're both cruiserweights being used in that situation on those bigger shows. But Buddy Murphy's been stealing the show multiple times with some of these pre-show matches. When I went, well, no, he wasn't in that match actually, but anyway. I wrote a piece a couple of months back, I think last year, when Seth Rollins was still doing the Open Challenge with the Intercontinental Championship. And someone I would have loved to see answer that call would have been Buddy Murphy. I think that they could have put on a hell of a show because, yes, Murphy is a cruiserweight, but he's still someone that could probably match power with Seth Rollins. But this dude is good at what he's been doing. And ever since getting out of the Blake and Murphy NXT gimmick and moving over to 205 Live, getting into the cruiserweight tournament, et cetera, et cetera. The dude's been putting on great matches, and I definitely think you should go back and watch some of the stuff. If you love what Mustafa Ali is doing, go back and watch some of his matches from last year with Buddy Murphy. You'll see what actually helped him get over with a lot of fans. And I'm sure, and I'm willing to bet, you'll become a fan of Buddy Murphy as well if you sit down and watch what he's done even before he won the title. I don't really remember too much of him in Blake and Murphy, where I believe they were the NXT Tag Team Champions one time. But this cruiserweight run has been one of my favorite things that we've gotten to witness over the last year or so since Triple H has taken over 205 Live. And again, like that, you may not be watching that show consistently, but it's definitely some of the better matches and some of the better content that WWE puts out there. But he has a match against Tony Nese, who won the tournament for number one contender. I expect Buddy Murphy to win this year. Tony Nese, while he has the look, I mean, he looks like a mini version of Elias, who in turn looks like another version of Randy Savage. I'm not too excited about him. I've seen him do good work, definitely seen him do good work, but I just don't think that he's ready to supplant Buddy Murphy at any point in time. I think that the man that's going to take that title from Murphy is going to be Kushida. And I hope that he doesn't have to make the stop over to NXT. He just goes straight to 205 Live, but we'll see what that looks like. But that's somebody I can't wait to see debut. This match on Sunday, I do expect it to be fantastic. I'm getting there early on time just so I can see what Murphy does in person. The dude is worth your time. He's worth your 10 minutes. I expect him to not get anything more than 15. And I expect Buddy Murphy to come out on top on Sunday. But this is definitely a match that you must see. And if you miss it for some reason, just because the pre-show is so long and it's going to be, you're going to be there all day, you're going to be watching all day, definitely take a moment to go back and watch this match. I think that anyone who sees Murphy get out there and perform suddenly will become a fan of his. And I think that he has the potential to be something big, even though he's not by stature. The other pre-show match is the Women's Battle Royal, which is also on the pre-show. I'm not quite sure who's in this one. I have a list of participants here. So let's see. There's Asuka, Carmella, Dana Brooke, she's in it. Lana, Liv Morgan, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Naomi, Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Sonya Deville, and Zelina Vega. I expect Lacey Evans to also be in this as well. Actually, she's my pick to win it. But it's sad that this is it's not sad that this is going on. It's sad that I was thinking about this earlier. I'm going to send out a tweet because we have 15 matches on the card, 3 of which are dedicated to women's wrestling. You have this one, you have the women's tag team titles, and then you have the main event. And even though the women, there's 3 matches on this 15-match card, only one of these matches really have any story behind them, and that's the main event with Rousey, Flair, and Lynch. That's the only match involving women that have any real story behind them. The tag team titles, everyone's excited to see Beth Phoenix come back and compete, but outside of that, what is the real story behind this match? It's Banks and Bayley, who are the first historic winners of that tag team title. Of those tag team titles, facing off against 3 teams that you can't really get excited about. The Divas of Doom, yes, Beth Phoenix and Natalya are, I don't want to say legends, but Beth Phoenix is a Hall of Famer, and I think Natalya will be a Hall of Famer, but they're 2 women that are workhorses that definitely they were ahead of their time. They talk about the women's revolution, and Beth Phoenix didn't get a chance to be a part of that. So it's good to see her being out there and getting in with Bayley and Banks. But the Iconics, they're a comedy act to me, just like Heavy Machinery is a comedy act in the men's tag team division. They are, I'm not going to say they're horrible in the ring. It's just a lot of their best content hasn't been in between the ropes from bell to bell. It's usually when they have the mic in their hands. I tend to mute them. I'm not the biggest fan of their shtick, but I get why people call them funny. I get why people praise them for their entertainment value. I get it. I totally understand. I am just not a big fan of their in-ring abilities. I wish that that slot could have been taken by the Sky Pirates, Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. I think they would have tore it up with Bayley and Banks. Hopefully, we're gonna get just a one. I don't want to say just a match between just those two teams at this upcoming takeover event, a standalone takeover in June, I believe it is, May or June. So hopefully we'll get that. But either way, going back to the Women's Battle Royal, which is on the pre-show, it's unfortunate that. Yes, this is, it's good that the women are getting on the card. It's just unfortunate that they couldn't find some meaningful part of this. Like, what is the purpose of this women's battle royal? I think Naomi won it last year. She never actually got that title shot. That was the quote unquote stipulation of that battle royal. And then you have this one where Asuka's being thrown in. I mean, 2 weeks ago she was the women's champion. Now she's without a title and she's just thrown into this placeholder match. While I wish she would be the one to win it, and I wish she would win it in like a dominating fashion, I don't think that the WWE is going to go. Instead, I expect them to put the victory on Evans, who, even though she's done nothing, has continued to get prime placement with her aisle walking gimmick, where she walks up and down the aisle during matches on Raw and SmackDown. She doesn't seem exciting to me at all. She seems like, I don't want to say a waste. She seems like a waste of space. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. But I do know that Vince and the crew are high on her. So I expect her to get the win out of this. If I had to pick my bets, who I would see win this match, I think Lacey Evans is 1. Mandy Rose is 2. I would put Asuka in there as maybe the third person to win this. But if I had to make a pick myself, I would go either Asuka, Ruby Riott, Sonya Deville, or Naomi. But I don't think that that's going to go down, especially not with the way Naomi has been complaining about her usage in WWE recently. I don't think that she's going to get any type of limelight coming Sunday when she's in the Women's Battle Royal. The next match I will cover is, let's go to, well, I just talked about the Boston Hug Connection, so I'm going to go ahead and skip over that. I think Sasha and Bayley are going to come out as champions. I think it's going to kind of feed into what we see at the very end, but I think Sasha and Bayley come out as champions there. I am looking forward to seeing how Beth Phoenix looks in the ring. Let's talk about, let's talk about another match I'm not too excited about. Shane McMahon versus The Miz. I could not care less about this match. I've never been a fan of Shane McMahon. I just think that he is someone who inserts himself into the storyline because of his last name. He can do so. He doesn't. I mean, he's a horrible worker in between the ropes. All he does is throw himself off of the highest thing he can possibly find, and people pop for that. I'm not here for that type of wrestling. He looks horrible. As someone who trains in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whenever he throws up one of his bullshit triangles or whatever the fuck he's trying to do, he looks like he has no business even. I don't even know why he's allowed to step into Henzo's gym in Times Square. That's neither here nor there. But the he's a fucking joke. And I said it. I'm not excited about this match that he has with The Miz. The Miz is someone who's grown on me. As you know, this is the same guy who came from the real world. He built himself up. I think he's like one of the only ones from that series that's really even doing anything with himself. He's a multiple-time Intercontinental champion. He's headlined WrestleMania before. He has been in, I think, like 2 or 3 movies. He has his reality show now. I mean, it's all good. It's awesome. I'm definitely a fan of his. He's groomed me into a fan. I expect him to get the win on Sunday, but I'm wondering if his dad is going to turn on him. We've been following the storyline where Shane McMahon has been belittling his dad. His dad's been roped into the situation. I think he's going to be at the show. I expect there to be that turn. at some point in time. But I mean, again, this doesn't surprise me. I am glad that they're out of the tag team title picture because I believe that they were taking time away from some team that was more deserving, even though the tag team divisions haven't really been taken care of to begin with. But that's neither here nor there. I wanted to just breeze through this match where I think Miz gets the victory. Not too much more to look forward to with that. So let's move on to another match, another non-title match. I think is actually no. Let's move to the tag team titles, where the SmackDown tag team titles, the Raw tag team titles are not being defended on the card as of right this very moment. I'm not saying that won't be added, but as of April 3rd, 8:35 p.m., there isn't anything booked for the Raw tag team titles. But what we do have is a fatal four-way for the SmackDown titles, where we have the Usos, Jay and Jimmy, versus Ricochet and Aleister Black, The Bar, and Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. So looking at this, I think that Ricochet and Aleister Black are going to come out the titles with the titles here. But what I think is even more interesting is I think that they're going to walk out with the SmackDown titles on Sunday. Oh, excuse me, they're going to walk in with the NXT titles that they're going to win on Friday because they're going up against the War Raiders at TakeOver New York or whatever the hell they're calling it. And I think they're going to walk into WrestleMania with those belts around their waist to give that brand some rub and walk out with the SmackDown titles. They've looked fantastic since being brought up to the main roster. They're the only two that are really kind of being used in any way, shape, or form. And they're the only two that's really been being used in. If you look at the cycle of call-ups that have been brought up to the main roster, I think the last group that really even did anything. I mean, Neville kind of turned his time around once they debuted the Cruiserweight division. But outside of him, I want to say maybe Kevin Owens could have been the last one that really kind of elevated himself. Finn Balor, but he got injured and he's been middling since. So Samoa Joe hasn't reached a place of prominence. We're going to be talking about him in a minute, but still, that's neither here nor there. I think that Ricochet and Aleister Black have definitely caught everyone's attention, let everyone know that, hey, we're stars. I think they're bigger stars as singles wrestlers, but right now they got them paired together. They're using them correctly. They're putting on fantastic matches every time they get in there. So I'm excited about what these two guys are doing. I expect them to get the win on Sunday. I would love to have seen it be just the Usos versus Ricochet and Aleister Black, but with the Bar, Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, I think they're going to tear it up very well. So this is going to be a great match. I don't think it's going to be a show stealer, but I still think it's going to be a great match. I have some recommendations on what I think will steal the show beyond that. So I do believe that Ricochet and Aleister Black are coming out on top, and they're going to leave with both the NXT tag team titles and the SmackDown tag team titles on Sunday. So the next match I wanted to talk about is another non-title match where we have AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. And nobody would have guessed that this would be the match that has had the best promos to build it up since it's been announced, or since they started teasing it. I think they've been teasing Orton and Styles together for a while now. And to see it come to this point, it has, I think it's gotten there very well. I truly believe the narrative that Randy Orton feels slighted because AJ Styles has been given such a prominent, or has been placed in such a prominent role in WWE when Orton's been there for decades, doing the damn thing as the Viper, as a legend killer, as a part of a legacy, as a part of evolution, et cetera, et cetera. You know, Randy Orton was that guy, and I think he's lived up to the hype. I mean, I think he's lived up to the coronation of being the next big thing. He's never like the breakout crossover star, but the dude is definitely a legend. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I can get behind this narrative that he's insulted that AJ Styles has come in and gotten to such a high acclaim, had a year-long championship reign as a WWE champion. So I see the storyline and I see it working. I think these two guys are going to put on a hell of a match. this could be one of the show stealers when it's all said and done. Looking at how it's been booked so far, I mean, doing WWE math with Randy Orton standing over AJ Styles after SmackDown on Tuesday, it looks like that means AJ is going to get the win. I do think he picks up the win here. I don't think Orton's been very victorious a whole lot at WrestleMania. I think the last big win he had was over Seth Rollins a couple of years ago, but even still, Seth Rollins went on to cash in his Money in the Bank that night. I don't see Orton taking the victory here on Sunday. I think I see Styles coming in and getting the win, especially with what they did on Tuesday with Orton hitting the RKO out of nowhere for lack of a better term, catching Styles as he came off of phenomenal form. Had they did that on Sunday, I thought, okay, this is how Styles is going to lose. But since they did it on Tuesday, I doubt that they're going to write the narrative that Styles is dumb enough to get hit with it twice. So we'll probably see something change in AJ the Phenomenal One get the win. And in a match that I think does a great job of keeping these two active, keeping them in an important storyline, but not getting lost in the shuffle. Actually, I skipped a pre-show match with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And the women, this one has less meaning than the women's battle royal. I would definitely say that because even though like Braun Strowman is in it, but I see not like you have Braun Strowman, Mustafa Ali, Andrade Almas, Apollo Crews, Bo Dallas, Bobby Roode, Braun Strowman, Chad Gable, Colin Jost from fucking Saturday Night Live or whatever the fuck that is. I think wherever he's from, you have Curtis Axel, you have EC3. You have Graham Metalik, you have Heath Slater, Jeff Hardy, Jinder Mahal, Kalisto, Carl Anderson, Connor, Lindsay Dorado, Luke Gallows, Matt Hardy, Michael Shea. He's also from Saturday Night Live. You have Noe Jose, Otis from Heavy Machinery, Rhinos, and this one didn't know that. Shelton Benjamin, Titus O'Neil, Tucker, fuck Ty Dillinger, he's not in it. Tyler Breeze, Victor, and probably some more of the guys. Braun Strowman is in it as well too. I expect Braun Strowman to be one of the last guys, but I don't think he's going to win it. I think that my pick to win this is Andrade Almas if he isn't added into another match at another point, and we'll go over that in a second. But I think I would like to see Andrade Almas win this joint because I think he is deserving of a big moment. In my opinion, they should have found a way to get him into the U.S. title picture because I do think it's time to put a belt around that man's waist. But I see either Almas winning or I could see Apollo Crews as a dark horse as well, too. I expect some chicanery and some foolishness around the Michael Shea, Colin Jost piece of it. Involving Braun Strowman, I think that's going to be comical there. I'm not too sure how that's really going to go down, but I do expect something to happen there and them to get kind of eliminated, them to get him out of there. But I want either, if I had to make a pick, I can see either Ali, Mustafa Ali winning this, Andrade Almas, or Apollo Crews. Those are my three picks to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on Sunday. So let's talk about another non-title match. Let's get all those out the way. Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin. Now this is funny to me. As much as people are pushing back against the idea of Baron Corbin being included in that match, there is still an opportunity that he doesn't get this match because we've all seen the reports that John Cena has signed on to do a match of some sort at WrestleMania. No one's confirmed what, but everyone's kind of been hinting that that's the match that should have been booked immediately because this is Kurt Angle's retirement match. He's not wrestling for WWE after this anymore, which is great because he looked horrible since day one. I've always wondered why he was going to get back into the ring because he looked like years ago he looked like he couldn't do anything, but that's neither here nor there. And if you guys remember, Cena's first televised match was against Kurt Angle. So there's kind of like some synergy there in having Angle's last televised match come against John Cena, especially as John Cena goes down on a diminished schedule. With Baron Corbin, we did see Kurt Angle lock him into the ankle lock at the end of Monday on Raw, so maybe they can use that injury angle as a way to get him out of the match. But no one wants to see him in this situation here. Baron Corbin is someone who is just not resonating with the crowd right now. Yes, he has fans. Yes, he has some people that like him in almost like a smart or a snarky type of way, like they're too cool to not like him. He's not the type of wrestler that people are clinging to right now. He's more of a throwback that can still do some of the, like his moveset. I love it. I love the boss man slide to the clothesline. I love the deep six power bomb. I love the in the days. It's probably one of the best finishers in the game today, but he just is not resonating with the crowd as a character. And that's unfortunate. He looks, I mean, he got picked on for his clothes, that saying that he looked like a waiter, and he still does look like one out there in slacks and dress shoes. So he's just not someone who jumps off the screen and screams superstar. He's someone that is not enjoyable to watch right now, and I'm not a fan of his work. I do expect him to get pulled out of this match. I am hoping he gets pulled out of this match, because if he doesn't, this is definitely going to be the bathroom break, because I'm going to need one. But I don't think Kurt Angle's going to get the win here. I can't remember anyone who's ever gone out with their hand raised. I mean, Ric Flair went out on his back, so I'm expecting Kurt Angle to go out on his back as well too. But if Cena gets brought in, I could see Cena doing the job for Kurt. I could definitely see that happening. So if Baron Corbin stays in this match, I expect Corbin to get the win. If Cena replaces Baron Corbin, I'm going with Kurt Angle. Let's see. Any more? So another non-title match we have on this card is Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. Let me sip some tea real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. Drew McIntyre should win this, but there's no way in hell he does. Roman Reigns is coming back from cancer. He defeated that. He's coming back with big pops, even though I think that they're kind of diminishing. And he's getting back into the swing of things of being back as the leader of this locker room. There's no way in hell he takes the pin on Sunday against McIntyre. I think it's going to be a good match. I think McIntyre is has everything. He has all the tools. He's an athlete, powerful wrestler, good looking guy, huge man. He's right up their alley. He checks all the boxes. I just don't think that now is his time. But I do believe he's someone that can be champion, especially once they get that belt. Well, even if Brock had the title, I could see McIntyre being the one that's tagged to defeat him in some way, shape, or form if that situation came down to it. But I think that this match with Reigns, I think it's going to be good. It's going to be a big, hard-hitting match. The two guys, they're big, powerful men, but they still work at a little bit of a faster pace. So I think that it'll be enough to keep fans engaged. I'm expecting them to go like 18 to 22 minutes. But I do think Reigns gets his hand raised. There's no way they do not get that moment of Roman Reigns coming back from cancer and getting a WrestleMania moment last minute like this and getting his hand raised in some shape or form. So I am picking him to get the victory over Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 35. The last non-title match I wanted to talk about, let's see if I hit on the others, is Triple H versus Batista. And if you have not seen it, go back and watch Batista's promo from this past Monday. Might take you maybe 4 minutes, but it's my favorite promo in professional wrestling since the Festival of Friendship from a couple years ago. Batista walks down to the ring, okay, doesn't say anything, looks like he was going to say something for a second and just points to throws it to a video package. Do a video package of Batista defeating Triple H 3 times. Triple H does not have any victories over Batista. Then cuts back to the ring. Batista takes his glasses off, Simply says, "Hunter, kiss my ass." Drops the mic, walks in, and his music hits. Probably one of the best promos I've seen since that Festival of Friendship segment. It was hilarious. It was to the point, and it got everyone excited about this match. Perfect camera shot as well too. So I'm here for all of this. I didn't think that I would be that excited for Batista to return. I mean, I wasn't a Batista guy when he was at his height years ago. I recognize though that people really love this man. When I was at the was it SmackDown 1000 or whatever it was recently in DC, and when they did that segment with him and Flair and Randy Orton in the ring together, people were screaming for Batista, like they were losing their damn mind for him. And I just didn't realize that he was that big of a name. Still, I know we have Guardians of the Galaxy out there and the Avengers out there, et cetera, et cetera. So I get he's getting that Marvel rub as well. But man, dude is over. He is the heel coming into this. I expect Triple H to get the win because this is saying that Triple H, if he loses, he has to retire from in-ring competition, and they still got to go to Saudi Arabia going in June now, so they're going to have to get Triple H on that card some way, shape, or form. I don't expect them to lose to Batista, but this is going to be a fun one. No holds barred. I think it's going to be an ugly match. There might be some blood in this as well. I hope there is some. So let's move into the title matches, and the first one I want to talk about is the U.S. Championship here, the United States Championship, where we have Samoa Joe going up against Rey Mysterio. In another life, I will be really excited about this match because I'm a fan of Samoa Joe, big fan of Rey Mysterio. But we don't know if Mysterio is still going to be in this match because he actually was injured. He was injured on this past Monday in his match with Baron Corbin, where he injured his ankle, and it seems like he is, I'm going to say, day to day until Sunday. So there's that. But if this remains a one-on-one match, I would like to see Mysterio get the win. I think this is the last belt he needs to become a Grand Slam champion. I'm not sure why he's not already won, because he's held the world title, he's held tag team titles, and he's held the Intercontinental title. So he's checked every box. But the United States title is the one belt he has not held yet. So if he wins it, I think he will be considered a Grand Slam champion. Let me double check real quick. I looked at this earlier today, and I think he's not on the list. Let's see. So in the original format, he is not one. In the current format, no, he's not listed, which kind of blows my mind. But I thought that he would be, but I do believe he'll get the victory here if he's healthy. Depending upon the severity of that injury, we may see a situation where Andrade or Mustafa Ali get added to this match, and I don't think Joe's walking out of WrestleMania with the title. He's someone that I think doesn't need a belt if it's not the championship title. I still find it surprising that he hasn't been in the title picture for longer, or that he hasn't been a WWE champion in some shape or form at this point in time. I thought him moving over to SmackDown would be perfect for him, but he hasn't gotten into that flow. He hasn't become a champion yet. I'm not sure. I have an idea of what that's been holding him back, but man, Samoa Joe is the truth. If you have not seen that chronicle of him, go back and watch it. The one from, who was he going up against? I don't remember what match it was before, but I need to go back and look at it again. But if you have not watched that Samoa Joe Chronicle, go back and watch it because it's an excellent episode. But I do expect Rey Mysterio to come out as the victor at Sunday for the United States title. Then you have Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor. I mean, this one is a foregone conclusion. Finn is coming out as the demon, and he never loses once he puts on that makeup. I did like Bobby Lashley's reaction to it. Instead of being like everybody else, acting all afraid and scared of Finn Balor, when he puts on face paint, he's like, he's just another dude. He's the same guy. I'm going to beat him up like I beat him up before. Bobby Lashley is actually very underrated. I'm putting together a piece for him for Daily DDT talking about that. But it's interesting that WWE creative seems to be coming around the corner on how they're using him, allowing him to talk more, allowing him to be more of a heel. He's someone that I think can get over with the fans. He's definitely a believable champion. They had their moment there to elevate him when he defeated Roman Reigns, but they turned around and had Reigns beat him the very next day. So we all know how that bullshit goes. But I think that this is a good match for him. He's coming in as a champion. Again, I don't think he's going to win. I think he's going to do the job for Finn. I'm interested in Finn's entrance because the Demon always has bomb ass entrances, and I think his face paint is going to be on point. I'm wondering how to do that, especially with how long the ramp is probably going to be. But I do think it's going to be pretty cool to see him come down to the match in his face paint. That's the only thing I'm really looking forward to when it comes to these two here. The next, I have 3 more matches to talk about. The first one I want to do is Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. I don't think Seth is going to win the belt on Sunday. Or I think he's going to win the title and turn around and lose it to Roman. I wonder if this is a moment where we see Roman turn heel. Not necessarily on Sunday, but in the coming weeks, he turns heel and he ends up being the one to take the belt from Seth. Even though Seth has the ability, the in-ring ability to be a actual champion and not be a transitional champion, I think that that's going to be the rub of him going forward. I think that he's going to be a transitional champion to get that belt back on Roman. When he was the first time he was a champion before he got injured, I think he was originally supposed to be a transitional champion there as well, but he overexcelled and overexcelled, and then now he's continuously been going above and beyond what he was expected to become. I remember when the Shield got formed, Seth was a guy that many people thought wouldn't live up to the hype, wouldn't be someone, or he wouldn't be special enough to become a main eventer. But he's proved everybody wrong to date. Brock, I mean, I'm tired of this guy. I'm tired of him not being as a champion. It's not funny anymore. It's not a running joke anymore. It's not something I care about. Like, really don't care about that title. When Roman had it for a brief moment and he was back on the show and the title was back on the show, the whole show had meaning. Everything seemed to have pop. But the minute they put the title back on Lesnar instead of Bray Wyatt, it just fizzled right out. So I do think that they take the belt. I do think that they need to get the belt off of him. I just don't think that it happens here with Rollins. If it does, I'm all for it. I hope Brock goes away, goes and fights Daniel Cormier, goes and fights John Jones. Give us those fights. That I would be much more excited to see him in that space than I am to see him in professional wrestling. He's even made Paul Heyman feel kind of stagnant as well. So, but looking at this match, I just don't think that they're going to pull the trigger on Seth. Or if they do pull the trigger on Seth, I think that they're going to take the belt off of him rather quickly to put it back on Roman once they know that he's good to go and that he's good to get baby back on the road now full time. Oh, man. You know what? People are going to be mad at me for doing this, but for me personally, Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston is my main event. So I want to talk about the actual main event of the showcase. You know, these women are going on last. They're creating history. They deserve it. Every shape and form, or every way you can give it to them. They deserve all the accolades that's going to come for this match. We have Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, and I think the pop for this match is going to be deafening from the time that I think Charlotte's going to probably come out first. From the time that the first woman walks up to this ring to the end, it's going to be madness. It's going to be a train wreck of a match. I don't expect a lot of fancy high-flying bullshit. I expect these women to get in there and beat the living hell out of each other. Monday's segment where they were kicking each other in handcuffs, kicking out windows, kneeing each other through windows, busting each other in the mouth, like that right there was an exciting way to get people hyped for WrestleMania. And I do believe that this match is going to live up to the hype. I think they're going to go in there and they're going to go all out. I mean, there's no way that they don't put the titles on Becky after this run that she's had. I do think the last shot that we get is the four horsewomen: Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bayley holding up titles. But I wonder if they're going to be facing off against Rousey and the other group. Not necessarily facing off with them in a scrap, but just a stare down to let us know, to give us some foreshadowing. Because I do think that Shayna Baszler gets called up. I think she's losing her title at NXT on Friday. I do think she gets called up rather soon with Marina Shafir and Jessica Duke. I don't know if they all get paired together immediately. Shayna Baszler makes an easy transitional flow for Becky Lynch. She can go right into that storyline there. But I'm excited for this match. These women deserve all the praise in the world that they're getting for being the main event. And I think that they're going to give us hell from bell to bell. I'm excited. I mean, I cannot wait just to hear their music hit and hear the announcer. I'm not sure who the announcer is going to be. Let everybody know that this is the main event of the evening. It's going to be a hell of a showcase, and I think the people are going to be out of their mind, going nuts. But I think that Becky Lynch gets the win. She has to pin Ronda Rousey clean. She has to. She has to get that victory that way. While I understand the reason that the potential reasoning as to why they may not do it that way, I do think that that is the way to go because it helps that narrative and it helps keep that that main storyline down pat. I think Ronda can take the pin and not look too bad. She's supposed to be going away for a little while. Let her go away, let her do her thing. But Ronda has to eat that pin on Sunday. She has to. She has to. I say it again. She has to eat that pin on Sunday. But I think Becky Lynch takes the titles and probably one of the biggest moments in all of their professional careers. But I mean, even though their careers are still early, this is going to be the biggest moment in easily any of their career. I expect a bunch of tears. I expect standing ovations. I expect the locker room to empty and meet them on the stage, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's going to be a hell of a moment. But my main event, Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. Yes, an injury Ali caused this moment, but the fact that they ran with Kofi Kingston and they knew from jump that this is the match that they needed to make, they kept drawing us out. I thought they were going to put the belt on him at Elimination Chamber. They kept drawing us out. All the rumors about them going with someone else for Mania or them going in another direction, putting Kofi in some other situation, just drawing us out. Now we have an opportunity for Kofi Kingston to win the WWE Championship for the first time in a one-on-one match for the title in 12 years he's been with the organization. I may well up in tears. There's no way in hell you can tell me that this isn't the moment that Kofi Kingston deserves. Listening to all the narratives, all the people, all the podcasts I listen to, people are questioning Kofi Kingston isn't that guy. He's not. This spot was meant for Mustafa Ali. People are just cheering for the underdog. They're not really cheering for Ali. All of those narratives need to fucking stop because they have some undertones to them that I am not comfortable with. That we should all be uncomfortable with because they're basically they're discriminatory in an unconscious bias type of way because the narrative behind it almost seems like it's like, why are you singling out Kofi for this situation? The dude delivers every time he steps into the ring. Yes, people were not always behind him like they have been over the last few months, and I think that's because he was undervalued, he was underappreciated. Once we were reminded that this guy is something great during that first Gauntlet match. He's continued to deliver time and time again. He's been delivering his whole career. And this is a moment right now that he deserves. He needs to get that title put on him. He needs to be done clean. No foolishness. I don't want to see a New Day turn. Nothing. Put that belt on him and let us all cheer him out the building because If they don't do that, I don't know what. Like I was talking about this on Twitter the other day. If they don't put that belt on him, and I would not, again, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE didn't. That's the sad part. If they don't put that belt on him, I'm not sure what I might do. I might just lose my goddamn mind. But he deserves that belt. He deserves to have it over his shoulder. He deserves to have his teammates run out there and lift him up and cheer him on. He deserves all of that, and it's just a moment that I just believe we we need. That's all I got. Kofi Kingston needs to have that title put around his waist. I think these two guys are going to go in there and they're going to make it happen. It's going to be fantastic from bell to bell. Daniel Bryan's been putting guys over for an extended period of time. I think he wants to be the man to put Kofi Kingston over. This is a match right here that I need to deliver, and I needed to deliver the ending that we all want to see. So, yeah, that's our preview. 15 matches. We're talking for 45 minutes. WrestleMania 35 on Sunday. I'm leaving DC at probably about 8 a.m. Going to get to New York and just try to hang out for a little bit before going over to MetLife Stadium. Super excited. Can't wait to get this out of my Can't wait to get this experience into my system. It's my first time going. I wish I could have gone to more events. We got the G1 Supercard, which should be great. NXT Takeover, which is going to be fantastic as well. There's a lot of other events going on. I wish I could see. May try to rewatch them at a later date. But either way, this is a hell of a wrestling weekend. If you're a fan of wrestling, take advantage of this. Enjoy this content because it's going to be a fantastic, fantastic week starting today. So with that in mind, again, my name is Raphael Garcia. Give me a follow at rgarcia_sports. Check us out at MMA Ratings Net on Instagram and Twitter, where you can find all of our content there. Go to MMAratings.net, where you can rate the fights and let us know what you think about them, the upcoming fights and the previous fights, and then also read a lot of our written content there. And check out our podcast on MMA every Thursday, where myself and Shawan Humes talk about all of the big stories in the industry. And with that in mind, closing out today's show, happy WrestleMania week. Watch some wrestling, support pro wrestling, and everyone have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week.